Okay, everyone, so I wanted to take some time today to delve into how to do a product movement for tools. We talked in another video about how to use products consumed to record the movement, or sorry, I should even say the consumption of raw materials. However, we don't consume compactors, floats, or other tools when we use them. Rather, we move compactors to one site, then to another, and then to another. We reuse compactors, right? So raw materials, those we consume, and that's why we use the consumed object to record those. But for tools, we are going to continue using product requests, product request line items, and so on and so forth to know where we're moving materials to. Okay. So, in order to actually record the movement of tools from one location to another, we first need to start off with a product request. So right away, I'm actually just going to point out here that you can see I have two different tabs open. That is a deliberate choice on my part. If let's say here I forgot the name. Oh, what project was it again? Okay, well if you only have one window open, you're going to click out of here, you're going to go looking for what it is, and then you're going to navigate back to product requests and then go create a new one all over again. But if you have two windows open, maybe you forget the name of the project, but you can go here, you can look for the project, right? Oh, what is the name? And then you remember. Then you come back here and you tag it. I guarantee it will save time to have two windows open, okay? So it's important to tag both the project and the account. It's not really important to tag the stage because we generally use tools for multiple stages. So it's pretty rare where we're only going to use a tool for one stage. It's not a level of detail that I think we're interested in as a company, and I know you, the user, don't want to give yourself extra work. In terms of case, well, case, you should record what materials you're requesting to solve an issue if it is necessary, if there is a case created, right? So, and when I say is it necessary, let's say there's a lot of cracking at the screed stage, and you realize, oh, I'm actually going to have to move new sand. We use the wrong sand. That's fine, but probably you're not going to open a case regarding that, right? You're just going to continue with the same project. So generally speaking, it could be if a case is open on an ongoing project, so let's say Ryan Conlon's floor, it needed to be rescreeded and he called us and we opened a case saying his floor needs to be rescreeded. Then you should tag the case and the project to show, yeah, this sand I'm moving is to address this case with this ongoing project. Generally speaking, though, you're going to either tag project or case. Usually we open cases when projects are completed. You should not be moving materials to a project that is no longer going, okay? And furthermore, generally we don't open, and so generally if you're moving materials to a case, it's going to look like this, right? This account, this case, project is done. If you're moving materials to a project, there will probably be no case involved. Okay, hopefully that is clear, right? So case, tag the case if you're moving tools in order to fulfill the needs of a case. Project if you're doing so to fulfill the needs of a project, okay? So we're going to move materials from the Ngoma office to the test site. Perfect. And then I need to say the need by date. So I'm going to say this is needed by today. I need to start this project today. It's quite urgent. You should fill in the need by date. It's going to help us to know which requests are more urgent and which requests are less urgent. So you can see the status down here. You shouldn't say that the status is anything other than draft until you're confident that you've put in all the information. So now we're going to create a product request line item. Okay, what tools do I need? I say I need tools to move from the Ngoma office to this village in order to fulfill this project. Well, what tools do I need? Okay. Well, I need compactor. I only need one compactor. It's at this point in the video that I want to talk about a very important question that was asked to me by the Uganda team when we were doing this training. For a cluster, you're going to move more than one compactor. For a cluster, you are going to move maybe 5 compactors to this village. Now, technically speaking, you should make a separate product request and separate product request line items for every single project. Okay? You should not be just you should not be creating one product request and one line item to manage multiple projects. However, I understand that it might be somewhat difficult right now to tag every single project and create a separate product request and separate line item for every single project. Hopefully in the future, we're actually going to have one master project representing the entire cluster. That would make it a lot easier, right? Because then you could just move the materials to one project, and that project would be the master of all the other projects. For right now, what I'll say is this. Ideally, you would create a separate product request and line item for every single project. However, I understand that maybe to save time, you'll move 5 compactors to one project that is involved in the cluster. Okay, so maybe I'm going to say I'm going to move 5 compactors to Everest's house. And while they might not all be going to Everest's house, this will result in a movement of 5 compactors from the site we're storing the compactors to the Umadugadu that we're doing the cluster at. And so it's okay if to save time you just say I'm moving 5 compactors to this project. Okay, for this project though, this is in Ashema, I guess, so we're only moving 1 compactor there. And I said it was needed by today, and they've already filled that in. So I'm going to save. Okay, now I can actually go and say, okay, you know what, I have submitted this. Now I'm going to actually create the product transfer. So I'm ready to go, and I'm actually transferring the compactor now to the site. So this is a transfer stock out, right? Stock outs or stock ins are when we buy new materials or sell new materials that we no longer have access to. Transfer stock in or transfer stock out is when we are moving the location but we still own it, right? So we're still going to own this compactor. And now source product item. I'm going to go use my second window to make sure that that's the right one. We have 2 compactors in Ngoma, product items. Perfect. Okay, see my second window really helped there. Product request is going to be the most recent one I created. If I wanted, though, I could use my second window to make sure that that's accurate. Okay. Quantity sent. We said 1, right? And finally, please notice I did not check off while I was creating this product transfer received, quantity received, or date distributed. Only input these 3 pieces of information when you actually know that this is the case. Okay? Once you check off received, you cannot edit information anymore. And you want to make sure that all the information on here is right before you check off receive. Let's say I've gotten my information from the field, I know that this is correct, so I can fill these out. Perfect. Okay. We're going to save now. And now that I've checked off received, if I go to facilities and vehicles, I can actually see if first I'm going to go to the Ngoma office. So there were 2 compactors here, now there's 1. Conversely, at the test site, at this test site there were actually no product items prior. There was no product items, but the system has auto-created a product item to reflect the fact that I moved a compactor there. Now, something extremely important to say, the system only auto-creates if you have this checkbox checked off. You have to have checked off this checkbox. If this checkbox was not checked off and I moved inventory to this site, no product item would be created. The system would still allow me to move inventory there, but it's not going to auto-create product items for me. And that's a pretty big problem because then I'm going to have to go in and auto-create it myself. It's a huge hassle. So just make sure if you are creating a facility and you want to ever move inventory there or store inventory there, this box has got to be checked. Okay. So now you can also see an interesting piece of this is not only can I see the product items, but if I actually go into, here, if I actually go into the, here we go, product transfer, and then I can go to the product request, and the reason I'm doing all this is to click on the project, okay? And that's to show you guys that if you go to project activities, the product request I made is right here. See? So I said that I need an item by this date. And this allows me to keep track of all the tools that I've requested. And if I want to see, oh, have they actually been moved there? I can either look at a report or I can click into the individual product request and see the status of that request. Right? Has a line item been moved? Has a product transfer been moved? Simple enough. This is how you move tools, and the really great thing about this is now we actually know that we have a compactor at this site, and this is very, very important for tracking and for making sure we know where all of our tools are.